Welcome to EPG Pathshala. Dear students, today we will be talking about space agencies in the world. So in this module, we will be studying about the space agencies in different countries across the world, the mission of these agencies and the achievements of these agencies. So presently there are about 70 government owned space agencies in the world, and out of these the 6 have the launch capabilities. These include NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Russian Federal Space Agency, European Space Agency, Japanese Space Agency, China National Space Administration and Indian Space Research Organization. Further, out of these 6 space agencies, 3 Russian Federal Space Agency, China National Space Administration and NASA are capable of human space flight currently. So coming to these space agencies one by one, the first one is National Aeronautics and Space Administration. It is the space agency of United States government that was established in 1958 by Dwight Eisenhower. This agency primarily focuses on understanding the Earth, exploring other solar systems and bodies in space, aeronautics and space research. So various missions have been launched from time to time by NASA. Some of them we will be discussing here, like the first one is mission Juno. It was launched to understand the origin and evolution of Jupiter, which will basically lead to a deeper understanding of the origin of solar system. This was basically the second spacecraft designed under NASA's New Frontiers program and was launched on August 5, 2011. This arrived on Jupiter in July 2016 and it will keep orbiting the Jupiter for 20 months in 37 orbits. The main objectives of this mission are to understand the composition, temperature, water content, cloud motion and other properties of the atmosphere of Jupiter besides the magnetic and gravitational fields. The mission shall end on February 2018. The second one is Mars Exploration Rovers mission, which is a part of NASA's exploration program to carry out exploration of the planet Mars by means of robotics. This was launched towards Mars on June 10 and July 7, 2003, which landed on Mars on January 4 and January 25 as universal coordinated time in 2004. So the main mission of this main objective of this mission is to perform on-site geological investigations for characterizing the rocks and soils for determining the presence of water on this planet. The landing sites on Mars include Gusev crater, which is a possible former lake in the crater, and Meridiani Planum, where mineral deposits such as hematite, which suggests towards the presence of water on the planet. So the instruments that are carried on board this Mars exploration rovers include the panoramic camera for determining the mineralogy, texture and structure of the terrain. The second instrument is miniature thermal emission spectrometer for identifying the Martian rocks and providing temperature profiles of the Martian atmosphere. Third one is Mossbeer spectrometer for studying the mineralogy of iron bearing rocks and soils on planet Mars. Next is alpha particle X-ray spectrometer for analysis of the abundance of the elements that compose the rocks and soils of the planet Mars. Next is the various types of magnets for collecting magnetic dust particles, microscopic imager for obtaining high resolution images of these rocks and soils, and rock abrasion tool for removing dusty and weathered rock surfaces and exposing fresh material for examination by the instruments. Some other missions include mission Europa, which carries on reconnaissance survey of Jupiter's moon to investigate the possibility of sustenance of life. Next one is ICE SAT-2, which stands for Ice, Cloud and Land Evaluation Satellite. It's a second generation satellite of the Laser Altimeter ICESat mission and was in operation from January 13, 2003 to August 14, 2010. Next mission is mission InSight, which stands for Interior Exploration using Seismic Investigations, Geodesy and Heat Transport, placed a single geophysical lander on Mars to study its deeper interior. To study the Earth's surface and the natural resources existing on the surface of Earth, mission Landsat 9 was launched, which follows the Landsat 8 currently operating Landsat OLITIRS. Next one is Mars 2020, which is basically launched to address the ever persisting question about the possibility of life on Mars and the challenges that underlie our human expedition to Mars. So the second space agency after NASA is Russian Federal Space Agency, popularly known as Roscosmos. So it's the government owned space agency of Russia that was founded in 1992 and is headquartered in Moscow. So it's responsible for the space science program of Russia and its aerospace research. Besides launching various weather and communication satellites, this agency has developed its own navigational system called as GLONASS, Global Navigation Satellite System, which is a constellation of 24 different satellites. Besides weather satellites, communication satellites and navigation satellites, this agency has also launched Angara launcher, which would help Russia eventually in building a manned base on the moon. Mars 500 simulation is the next. It's a cooperative project of European Space Agency with Russian Institute for Biomedical Problems in Moscow, and this conducts scientific researches to prepare for human exploration missions. So the current missions on which Roscosmos is working is Phobos, Luna and Venera. The first one, Phobos, is launched to collect soil samples from the moon of Mars, which is known as Phobos Grunt, but it has been trapped at Earth orbit since its launching, and it might re-enter the Earth's atmosphere in due course of time. Next is Luna, which is a planned lunar lander mission in collaboration with European Space Agency to send a lander to the moon for prospecting minerals, volatiles and lunar water ice. The last of this mission is Venera, which is a Venus lander, which is expected to be launched around 2025 to make remote sensing observations of the planet Venus. Coming to the third agency, it's European Space Agency, which is an intergovernmental space agency established in 1975 under 20 European nations, with United Kingdom being its largest contributor. The main activities of European Space Agency include exploration to other planets, preparing for human space flights, Earth observations and telecommunications. So the main accomplishments of this agency is development of a space telescope Corot, Mars Express, which is a space probe to Mars, Venus Express, which is a space probe to Venus, and XMM Newton, which is a X-ray observatory satellite. Next is Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, which is established in 2003 and is headquartered in Tokyo. This agency deals with technology development, research related to launch of satellite into orbit, dealing with asteroid data and exploration of the moon. The main motto of this agency is reaching for the skies, and it's planning to launch human space program and develop the reusable launch vehicles. Some main projects of Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency include advanced land observation satellites, which includes currently existing Aster satellite data as well, besides monitoring of carbon dioxide and rainfall. The most important is the launch of GCOM satellite series, which is Global Change Observation Monitoring Climate, and it's a satellite mission to understand the mechanism of climate change occurring on a global level, such as the global warming, as well as monitoring the aerosols in the atmosphere, that includes clouds and dust particles, forestry studies and ocean studies. Next agency is Canadian Space Agency, which is a Canadian government body founded on March 1st, 1989. The headquarters are located at the John H. Chapman Center in Quebec. The mandate of this space agency is to promote the peaceful use of space and develop its own indigenous rockets and launch vehicles. Next one is China National Space Administration, which is headquartered in Beijing, and its primary spaceport is Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. This agency is responsible for the development and planning of space activities in China, and it carries out its own periodic launches using Long March rocket series called as Changzheng. It started its own human space program in 1992, a year before CNSA was formed in 1993. Shenzhou is the spacecraft designed initially by Russian engineers, but later Chinese developed its own indigenous Shenzhou rockets, and the first space traveler Yang Liwei entered in 2003, making China the third country for human spaceflight after NASA, after USA and Russia. So now the next institute is Space Studies Institute, which is a non-profit organization founded in California by Gerard O'Neill from Princeton University in 1977. The main mission of this institute is to utilize the energy and material resources of space for human benefit solely through scientific research and educational methods. The research priorities of this agency include reusable propulsion system, low cost space access and usage of non-terrestrial materials for human benefits. The main programs of this agency include Lunar Polar Probe, popularly known as Lunar Prospector, which is a small probe that scans the moon searching for water and other useful volatiles. The next one is Mars Driver, which is an electromagnetic accelerator to move raw lunar material to high Earth orbits for processing. Next is Shuttle External Tank to examine the uses as source of raw and structural material for space stations. The next mission is Earth Sun Trojan asteroids, which is used for mining of Trojan asteroid as well as nearby asteroids for mineral deposits. The next one in the series is Space Science and Engineering Center, which is located in the University of Wisconsin-Madison's Graduate School. It was founded in 1960s by two scientists, a meteorologist, Professor Werner E. Suomi, and an electrical engineer, Robert J. Parent, to observe the Earth's atmosphere from space. It mainly focuses on research studies related to geophysics and atmospheric composition of Earth and other planets. The main contribution of this agency is towards development of algorithms, image processing, data access for atmospheric processes, weather and climate, besides hardware development and fabrication for space machines and weather forecasting. The next in the series is International Space Science Institute, which is an institute of advanced study located in Bern, Switzerland, and was established in 1995. The main focus of this agency is on Earth and planetary sciences, cosmology, astrophysics and astrobiology, and these are solely based on the multidisciplinary research, space missions, the data obtained from ground-based observations and laboratory experiments. The institute is under a foundation of Swiss law and is supported by European Space Agency as well. Iran Space Agency was founded in 2004 and its headquarters are at three places: Mahada, Shahrud and Qom. The main duties of this agency include designing and manufacturing, research and operational satellites, and promoting peaceful space research activities. The future projects of Iranian Space Agency include Mesbah-2, Nahid, Amir Kabir, Dosti and Zafar. The original Mesbah satellite was a low Earth orbit communication satellite that was built by Iranian Space Agency in cooperation with Italy's Carlo Gavazzi Space Center. However, due to international sanctions, this project could not be completed, and Mesbah-2 was designed indigenously as a communication satellite by Iran Space Agency with an operational lifespan of 3 years. Next is Nahid, which is a communication satellite designed and jointly manufactured by Amir Kabir University of Technology and Iranian Space Agency's Aerospace Research Institute. Amir Kabir 1 is also known as OTSAT 1 and was designed by Amir Kabir University of Technology for providing post-disaster surveillance and has applications in agricultural fields as well. Dosti is a remote sensing satellite developed by Remote Sensing Laboratory of Iranian Space Agency for Earth observations. The last one in this is Zafar satellite, which would provide meteorological and water boundary mapping data at a very high resolution of about 80 meters. Israel Space Agency was established in 1983 by Professor Yuval Ne'eman with a vision to explore space and build satellites for space research. Its main focus is on communication satellites that are placed in the geocentric orbits and remote sensing satellites that are placed in low Earth orbits. Some satellites include AMOS, which is a series of 5 communication satellites, OFEC, which includes 10 satellites for intelligence gathering, EROS, which provides high resolution photography satellites, as well as TechSat-2, which is a research satellite for conducting scientific research. Korean Aerospace Research Institute, it's the Aeronautics and Space Agency of South Korea, founded in 1989, headquartered in Daejeon, South Korea. The main responsibilities of this agency include scientific research in aerospace technology, development of satellites, development of unmanned aerial vehicles, rockets and aircraft, besides providing assistance to the government's policy in aerospace field. The main accomplishment of Korean Aerospace Research Institute is successful launch of Narrow-1 from Narrow Space Center in South Korea in 2013, which was previously designated as Korea Space Launch Vehicle. It was the first carrier rocket and launch vehicle of South Korea to achieve the Earth's orbit. The ongoing projects of this agency include KSLV launcher and Smart Tilt Rotor, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle. At the end of this module, the reader would have gained an insight into some of the space agencies working in the field of artificial satellites, launch vehicles, carriers and other domains of aerospace technology. This module is basically meant to acquaint the students with the existing government-owned space agencies, and this knowledge base can be extended further to other space agencies of the world. Thank you.